when everything else is falling under retail, believe this is an item that people will not allow to get disrespected. Spider-Man #1 by Todd McFarlane, one of the coolest comics that we've got on VEVE. When everything else is falling under retail, believe this is an item that people will not allow to get disrespected. If you've been tracking the market, this comic book has been doing nothing but moving on up. If you don't know who Todd McFarlane is, he started illustrating Batman. Then he started working on The Amazing Spider-Man. People and Marvel quickly took notice of the dynamic poses that he would put Spider-Man in. Also, changing the game with the spider webs. Look at all those spider webs. Look at how much detail they got. When previous artists would only add the X between the lines, Todd was making them look creepy, almost like spaghetti. So Marvel gave him his own comic book to write and illustrate. Spider-Man #1, 1990. A popular comic, a must-have if you're a serious collector. I know some people like to say, why isn't the comic book worth more in real life? Because in real life, there's way too many copies in circulation. When this comic book came out, Marvel released 2.5 million copies. Todd was the man. They wanted to capitalize on his popularity, so they had various cover variants in hopes that people would buy more than one comic. This Spider-Man comic didn't go too well with Marvel because his storylines had a dark tone to them. Spider-Man was historically a lighthearted character marketed to young readers, so Todd McFarlane really didn't fit in. McFarlane continued to be censored by Marvel and ended up leaving, creating Image Comics along with 6 other artists. 2, where we get introduced to Spawn, written and illustrated by Todd McFarlane. This guy is a legend. His iconic covers and memorable characters are dope. His techniques and the use of motion makes him one of the greatest comic book creators in history. This Spider-Man #1 comic is definitely a must-have. Don't get discouraged because the real world comic isn't worth that much more. Keep something in mind. Though in the real world, they printed 2.5 million copies of this comic book. On VEVE, we only have 30,000. So don't be surprised if the NFT versions of this comic outprices the physical counterpart. We all know how popular Todd is. He has become a household name on VEVE. So if you can't afford the statue, you can at least have the first comic book. But I digress. Let's take a deep breath. If you guys are excited about VEVE as I am, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. If you would like to be friends on VEVE, look up Yucky Charmer mint number 0411 listed at 9 million gems.